Good morning, guys. Welcome to the last episode of GirlCode. Week 6 is finally here.
Oh, okay, I'm Ava.
And I'm Claire.
And today we will be talking about something very scary and very exciting, I guess, which is your future. And I think I want to emphasize we're not going to be telling you to, like, plan out the next 10 years of your life like this, or, like, you have to buy this calendar to make sure your life's going the right way. Like, we want to emphasize that, yeah, future planning is great, but you also want to be able to live in the moment, 100%. I think. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the battle, like, just trusting that what you're doing right now can lead to where you want to be, you know?
Yeah, I love that. That's so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
And I think I also really like looking back on, like, all of my life events and knowing that all of it happened and brought me to where I was or where I am. So I think it's really nice to be able to think of it that way too. Exactly. It's like everything is like a step in your growth and doesn't have to be one way or the other.
Exactly. So I think we can just get right into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I feel like the first thing that we can discuss is that dreaming big always starts small, and to not hold yourself to like a crazy standard because you're not at a specific place in your life right now. The little things that you're doing right now, they are eventually going to lead you where you need to be. Not like nothing is built overnight, basically.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think like every little thing you kind of have to remember, like your future career starts with one class, and like, you know, you get a degree, which is broken down from all your classes that you've done, and then those are broken down into all your assignments, and like it's everything comes together and it all accumulates into producing something that you get to be super proud of.
Exactly.
So I think that's really cool as well.
Exactly. No, I think that was really well said. Yeah, I think... Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
I think you have to remember that just doing a tiny thing today, your future self will thank you for that. And building habits that you need in your future does start with those little things, like you're saying, you know? So don't beat yourself up, you know? Don't expect you to do some crazy things. Just go with the flow.
It's also not very sustainable. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, sure, you can, like, jump right into something and make something super big happen in, like, a week or 2 weeks, but that's not sustainable. And especially, like, when you think about life habits, it's not sustainable to wake up one morning and decide that you're going to work out every single day.
Exactly.
Like, you can, like, you do that maybe for, like, a week or two, and then you're like, no, I'm tired of this. So, like, it actually starts with maybe working out, like, once or twice a week and doing, like, smaller workouts that are, like, 15, 20 minutes, and then you can build into the more consistency, but you have to build up your own endurance for it.
That was amazingly said. Yeah. And
Thank you.
someone who's it's hard for me to build a, like, super strict pattern if I go from, like, 0 to 100. So I'll kind of go off of, like, intuitively first and be like, okay, I want to start doing this. I'm going to do it when I feel like it, which might be like once a week, even though it's something I want to end up doing multiple times a week. And then once I do that, I kind of realize, okay, it's doable. Let me try to add one more time per week. And I just feel like going straight into something, it can hold you to a standard that you'll just hold yourself very harshly. And the second you shift what you're planning on doing, you'll feel bad about yourself. So starting off more realistic is always a good idea, I think.
Yeah, and it's not there to make you feel bad about yourself, right? Like, the end goal is that you feel good about yourself in the end, and if all it's doing is making you feel bad or making you feel like you're failing, then you need to reevaluate how you're taking the approach to that.
Exactly. You want to go to the next one?
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is stop comparing your timeline. Like what you have written here about how everyone is running a completely different race. I feel like I felt that. So I ran my 5K.
Yes.
2 weeks ago. Thank you. And I felt it that way for sure. Like, I ran with my best friend, and there was a couple times when she was ahead of me and, like, we weren't running at the same pace, and I had to, like, realize that she's been training for, like, longer than I have. Yeah. And it was okay that she was ahead of me, and, like, I was, like, as soon as I focused on myself, and I was like, you know what, like, I just want to finish this race in a way that makes me feel, like, happy and confident, then, like, that's all I need.
Exactly.
And, like, not comparing myself to the other runners around me, because some people, like, the fastest guy finished it in 14 minutes. So for comparison, I did it in, like, 30. So.
Okay, but that's actually not that far off if you think about it.
It's
that's
true.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
exactly.
don't look at the people who finished their races in 14 minutes.
Yeah, and I think that you have to everyone has to work on being proud of themselves for where they're at. Obviously, if you're trying your best, you know you're at a place you're meant to be proud of yourself, because again, nothing's built overnight, and you can look at like your classmate, let's say, oh, they have this like fancy internship and you're not there yet, you haven't even applied yet. Maybe you have not felt like you were in the right headspace or right time in your life to yet. And if you had done it when your other friend was doing it, you would have just been forcing yourselves to do something that you were not ready for.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know, you and I are both not lazy people. We're not people who will just like let things slide. So if we're doing something that someone else did like a few months ago, it's probably because we know that we're ready now and it's our right time, you know? Yeah. Obviously, you don't want to just be procrastinating everything and being like, oh, I'm on my own path, right? But it's good to have a balance of that. Yeah. For sure.
It's like what you said before about, like, intuitively. Like, sometimes some people are ready for other steps in their life, and then you know when you're ready for your different steps. And, like, I think you'll know when you feel confident enough to take that step. Yeah. When you feel comfortable. Nothing has to feel super easy, but when you feel confident and ready to take the step, then it's a good time.
And if you're taking a step just because someone else is doing it, first of all, you're not doing it authentically. You're not doing it because you want to, which means you're not going to enjoy it as much. And you're just not going to be your best self going into it. I feel like it's better to wait until you feel like you're fully formed and ready to take on that instead of just doing it out of, like, peer pressure. Because you're not going to have your best self going through that. And then no one wants to do something and then look back and be like, oh, I could have done that better if I did it now, right? Yeah. There's so many things that I think of that I'm happy I'm doing now that I think of my, like, first year or second year self doing. I'm like, oh my God, like, that wouldn't have been good. I'm so glad I did that now. Yeah. And I can fully enjoy it too, because I probably would have been too anxious when I was younger. Now I can just, like, fully grasp in the happiness of it, right?
Yeah, you're in the right place for it. Yeah. Which I think is really sweet. And exactly. And then to bring up our program, you have an example listed here about how, like, you might be friends with someone who wants to be a famous director, and then you might be someone who wants to work from home for an editing company, and both are equally valid and important goals. They're just different goals. Yeah. That doesn't make that one is more important or one is less important. They're just different.
I feel like people look at our program, and a common misconception is that it's very specific. And people have told me, like, oh my God, that's such a unique and very specific program. I'm like, actually, it's not. Like, if you think about it, there's like a million different jobs you could get from this one thing. And there's a million different skills that you can get better at, you know? And there's room for in this program for everyone to have a lot of strengths and a lot of things that they're not as good at and still have enough to find a job.
100%, yeah.
So I feel like that's a big misconception, and it makes people think that everyone wants the same thing in this program. Like, oh, you're in media production, you probably love movies, you want to be a director, you want to be in Hollywood, right? But not everyone wants that. Like, I've struggled with that too, because I don't know exactly what job I want. I'm trying to keep my options open because I love media so much as a whole. I could see myself doing multiple things. I could see myself doing this, like, if I got lucky and, like, became a famous podcaster.
That'd be so fun.
I could see that being fun, you know? Yeah. There's a lot of parts of media that I do love. I figured out what I don't like, which is important, but I'm trying to keep my options open to be like, okay, I like these 5 different jobs. I'm going to keep all of those open and take any of them because I feel like I'll enjoy all of them and just, like, go with the flow, you know?
And I think your mom actually is a perfect example of someone. Yeah, it's a perfect example of someone who's done just that. I mean, you tell me all the time about all her different, like, life careers, and, like, she's literally Barbie.
She's literally Barbie. And it's not like, oh, one is not going well, she's gonna switch to something else. It's literally just she finds something new that she likes. If she's doing something and she gets tired of it, she's like, you know what, I'm not gonna just do this because I'm like, I have to. I'm gonna find something else that I enjoy. And everything that she's done, she's enjoyed, which I really look up to. And I will try to I've had friends before that go into programs because they're like, oh my God, that's going to make me so much money, but I hate it. I'm like, then, like, I don't know. It's not worth it to me. It's not worth it. And then I look at my mom that's like, she's able to find things that she loves and then make money off of those things. And I'm like, that's what I would want to do. Yeah. So I want to have multiple options, go into it, and then if I don't like one job, jump to the next one and find something that I really enjoy. But I'm not going to try to fit myself into a mold of, like, what the stereotypical media student looks like because other people want that, you know?
Yes.
Because if I don't know what I want yet, honestly, but if I wanted a more chill job and I don't want to go to Hollywood, I have struggled with thinking, like, Hollywood is, like, the only goal that's an option. Like, you need to want that.
Yeah, it's not true.
Right? But it's so hard to not think that. Yeah. When you're comparing yourself to other people doing a similar thing to you. And that probably goes with every program, you know? Like, if you're in a simple program, but you, like, someone wants to be, like, the head of a company and another person just wants to have, like, you know, more lay low a little bit, that's not gonna be looked on as great, right? I don't know. It's just
no, I know what you mean. And like you're saying, like everyone has different goals, and just because they have different goals or their goals look different or they like produce different results, it doesn't change the fact that they are still someone's goals.
Yeah.
Something they're working towards, and we have to remember that.
Yeah. And I forget what line it is. I wish I remembered, but I think it's Pretty Isn't Pretty from Olivia Rodrigo. And there's a song saying like her beauty isn't my lack. And and the whole song keeps like, it's not just about beauty, it's like her like strengths aren't my weaknesses, right? Like just because this girl is so confident, she has an amazing job, whatever, that doesn't take away from what you're proud of. It's just different. Or I'm gonna connect this back to beauty, even though that's not what we're talking about.
That's okay,
like,
do it.
If like you're a rose and I'm a daisy, both so beautiful but completely different.
Yeah, it's like, I think we brought this up on the show one time before. We're talking about how like sunsets and flowers are both beautiful. They're just beautiful in different ways.
Exactly, and I feel like that can go towards your goals too. Yeah. Like your goal might look so much different from someone else's, but go for it and don't let them their goal take yours down, right? Because yours is just as important because it's important to you, and theirs shouldn't matter in your story.
Exactly. You know? I think that if you're proud of your goal and it's something that you want to achieve and something you want to work to, then I don't think you should let anyone stop you or make you or belittle you about what is important to you.
Exactly. Just get rid of those people.
Get rid of them. On that topic, though, depending on what your goals are, you are allowed to change your mind. Which I think is something that it's part of growing up. It's something that we all realize. Like, I think when I was in grade 11, I was convinced that I was going to be like getting a science degree in university. Really? Yeah, I had no idea I'd be here. And then it was only in grade 12 when I actually applied to this, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll come here. And then I just, so you're allowed to change your mind.
It's so funny how that works.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And even my mom told me, like, she actually told me that she expects me to change my degree.
Interesting.
Like, when I came into media production, she was like, yeah, I expect you to change your degree. Like, I'm not fully convinced you're going to, like, stay with one degree. Yeah. Like, you might change it up and switch it. So you're allowed to change your mind. Even at 20, even at 50, even at 85, you can change your mind.
Yeah. If anything, like, I want to stay here now because I know it's what I want to do. But in another world, I would rather experience multiple just to, like, see the variety and have multiple experiences under my belt, you know, different types of classes. Again, I'm happy I'm here. I'm very lucky that I was one of those people that, like, knew from when I was, like, literally a kid I wanted to do this, and I just never, like, thought of anything else. I was like, no, this is what's happening.
That's so interesting. But
that's very rare. Yeah. And my cousins have always, like, said, oh, you're so lucky that you knew from such a young age. And I'm like, no, but you're still lucky because you get to experience multiple different things. If you want to switch up, you know, you have different options. Everyone has options.
Everyone has options. And I think that, like, knowing what you want is a privilege, and then having all these options when you don't know what you want is also a privilege. And I think that's really cool.
It's all lucky. It's all fun.
We're all super lucky.
Stop looking at it like, oh, everyone else is lucky. No, you're lucky to be where you are, and make it exciting for you.
100%.
Yeah.
And I also think it's important to mention that changing your mind or changing your direction isn't failure.
Oh my god, no.
Right? Yeah. Lots of people see it as like starting over, and like that's honestly what prevents them from doing it. People are like, I don't want to start over at 22, or like, I don't want to redo this, I don't want to redo that. But it's not, you're not failing, you're just changing.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
I've seen this in relationships where people will be like 25, 26, and they would have been in the same relationship for years, and they'll be like, oh, like, I'm not the most happy, but I really don't want to start over. I'm getting old. Like, I need to have kids soon, whatever. I just don't want to start over. And I'm just thinking, like, you'd rather live your whole life regretting what could have been.
Right?
You know?
You'd rather stay with that man?
Yeah, never.
Not
like,
me.
Just making a decision that will better your life, and in that specific case, like, your future family, that will better it as well. Like, it's gonna better you, so why it's not a failure to change your mind in that case or in any case. Like, you're just doing what's best for you, and it doesn't matter what happened in the past. Maybe you made a mistake that you regret, but we're not looking at the past. It's good to recognize your mistakes, but we're not gonna stay in that. Like,
actually, on that note, sorry to interrupt you.
No, go.
I have a quote, which is not the quote of the day. I feel like every week I have a quote that's not the quote of the day.
Okay, double quote.
But the quote that I've seen is that your past was meant to be a lesson. It's not meant to be a prison.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important too. This is like so off topic from today, but I'll go into my tangent anyways.
Please.
It's really important to note that when you make mistakes, that's all they are. They're mistakes. They're not supposed to hold you and freeze you in time, and you're not supposed to be replaying your mistakes over and over and over and over. You're supposed to learn the lesson. You're supposed to say, I'm not going to do that again, and then you move on, and you get to go prove to yourself and to whoever that you won't do it again. Like, you have to go out and have the opportunity to be in that position to make that same mistake to prove that you've grown, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah. What was that other quote we saw that was like, you have to accept your past, live in your present, and then trust the future, right?
Aww.
Like, I think that's what it was.
That sounds right.
If not, I feel like it makes sense either way. But
I think so.
You really, like, it's good to recognize your mistakes, but don't live in that. Like, especially if you're someone who knows how to learn from those mistakes. If you're someone that's not, maybe, I guess it's good to reflect. I don't know. But don't live in the past. Just
don't live in the past.
Accept what's happening now and make your future, I guess. Right?
Yeah, build your future.
You can't build your future if you're just, like, stuck behind.
In the past, exactly. And the past is over. Stop looking back towards it.
It's old news.
Stop coming back. It's over.
Okay, do you want to talk about your fancy schmancy quote that you really like?
You're only saying it's fancy schmancy because it's by John Lennon.
I am a sucker for John Lennon, but also I'm a sucker for you, and this is your favorite quote, so...
Oh.
Can you tell we're a little bit emotional ending this season?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Actually, I was doing some research last night, and it's actually not by John Lennon.
They lied to us?
No. Okay, kind of. No, it's by this. Okay. Let me explain the origin of this quote.
Okay.
So it's actually... I forget his name. I think it was Fabio. I could be so wrong, but he was Brazilian, and it was translated from Portuguese.
Really?
Yeah, this quote. It's from a Portuguese book or by this Portuguese author. He was from Brazil, not Portugal. Portuguese, but same difference.
No.
And then I think John Lennon kind of picked it up, and because he's so famous, it came out as a big thing. Anyways, the point of the story is the quote is, everything will be okay in the end, and if it's not okay, it's not the end.
How incredible is that? She said that to me, and my eyes were I don't know.
Yeah, I love this quote. And I've thought about it when I had a friendship breakup, I remember being this is not okay, nothing's ever gonna feel okay again, and then eventually, a couple months later down the line, it was okay. Yeah. And I knew, and I was like, this is the end. Because, part of the relationship arc, too, was, the ending. You know what I mean? Stories have an ending. They don't just end, right at the fight and, and you close the book, right? So you have to follow it through. And then you get to the end of the book. It's okay. And everything's okay. And I really like that. I find this quote to be very, very, very comforting. And, I tell myself all the time, I'm you know what? When it's the end, I'm going to feel okay with it. Yeah. And it happens every single time without fail.
Not to cut you off, but there's a tour going on right now of young students, and they just took a picture of us doing our podcast.
Oh, great.
I guess they're fans.
They must be fans.
That's cute. Anyway, yeah, no, that's incredible. And I'm really glad you told me that, because I feel like that's something I can hold with me in the future, too. And I think it's okay. I don't want to tell you that you should try to be happy when you're sad. You can be sad. But I feel like if you're recognizing that you're in a dark place, you're only recognizing that because you have been in better places. Yeah. And you can see the difference. So if you think about it like that, you're okay, I'm in a dark place right now, but I've seen lighter times, which means I will see lighter times again. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, the sun will shine.
Yeah, and if your whole life was just, bland, not good, not bad, just, boring, then you wouldn't be able to see that. So you have to be thankful that there were those super high highs and the low lows, because personally, something that makes me so happy is, it sounds weird, but thinking back to how not in a good place I was at one point and seeing the growth. Yeah. So if I didn't have that, then I would just think okay, this is just boring life stuff. You know? But I can really appreciate where I'm at. You and I were literally having this conversation on text 2 nights ago. But we were saying how it's hard to appreciate the really good things unless you've had the not as good things. And then once you've had the not as great things, not even necessarily bad things, just not as great, it really shows. It really shows to you what the good things are. And I think it's a lot easier to recognize what's a really good friend when you've had friends who are not so great. Yes, that's a big one. You know, or there's a reason they tell you it's nice when high school sweethearts get married, but they always tell you oh, you don't want to marry the first person you date. You want to experience, and that's why, you know, you don't want to wonder, right? You want to experience good, bad, in between to figure out what you do want.
Exactly.
And it goes with everything in your life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's also something I would always tell myself, even when it was not, I was like having a hard time, I would say to myself, I was like, okay, if I were a sim, just hear me out.
I'm listening.
If I were like a sim and I could pick my life and I could choose, I would choose to fall in love and get my heart broken.
Yes.
I wouldn't choose to fall in love with someone and then be with them immediately, just like that one person for the rest of my life. Yeah. I would choose to experience the heartbreak. I would choose to experience the discomforting moments. I would choose to experience all of it because I think that it makes life, you know? If everything's so great all the time, it's like, you don't appreciate it. It doesn't hold as much value unless you've had those negative moments.
And I saw a TikTok that was saying, like, my biggest fear is marrying someone that, like, we never fight ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's interesting. And then I was like reading through comments, and they're like, yeah, I want to be able to express our, like, no one's going to be the same. You're not going to be two similar people. Mm-hmm. So you want to be able to express your differences and not fight, but have arguments and learn from them and grow from them. That makes you stronger. You don't just want to be, like, all boring and bland and happy all the time, I guess. Ew, gross. You want depth, right?
Yeah, 100% you want depth. I think that on that level, though, like, if you are having arguments and disagreements, it's important that you are respectful of each other. And as long as you have that respect there, that baseline of respect, then 100%, like, give me all the fights, give me the arguments, like.
Exactly. Because I don't know.
Boring.
I've seen where you don't, like, people won't be having any arguments their whole friendship, their whole relationship. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that just means that you haven't gotten to know each other deep enough to get to that point, right? Mm-hmm. And there's something holding you back. Like, oh, I'm a bit scared to say my feelings, so I'm just going to not say it and make myself, like, convince myself that this is not an issue. And that just doesn't make for a great friendship, relationship, anything.
I think I struggle a little bit with that. I'm someone who's a little, I'm scared to rock the boat.
Oh, we're both similar in that sense.
I don't like, I don't like making things. I try not to.
Yeah.
But I definitely 100%, you shouldn't keep things in that are bothering you, and you should always talk about them, and it'll make for better friendships, because no one wants that surface level friendship where you don't talk about anything and you just, like, pretend it's fine all the time, because then you, like, resent each other. So
exactly.
I think you should be honest.
Exactly.
Okay.
I like this one. I'll say it. Confidence is literally half the battle, guys. Like, it's almost the whole battle. Like, I've had to learn this myself, that you can do the shittiest job at something that you were, like, scared to do, and it could turn out bad. If you do it with confidence, no one cares.
Yeah, no one will know.
And you will not care eventually if you do it enough, you know? Because I'm the kind of person that I'm definitely a perfectionist, and I also get a lot of anxiety, especially with school-related things. So I won't push myself, which is a bad thing, but it's out of fear, because I only want to push myself if I know I'll be perfect at it. But where does that leave me? It leaves me doing things that I've done a million times before, not new things, right? So I need to let go of that and realize that if I walk into somewhere with confidence, doing a job I've never done before, chances are I'm pretty good at some of this stuff. I could figure it out. You know what I mean? And if not, I did it with confidence, and I'll confidently be like, hey, can someone help me out with this? Instead of, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I don't know how to use this. Can someone help me? Like, it just, your mood and your perspective on it changes everything. And I think that's really important, like, for both of us and everyone to remember, especially at this age. It can be really
100%. It's really intimidating, I think. Sorry. when you're like 20 and, like, I don't know about you, but, like, I feel like I'm constantly, like, the new person in the room. Like, I'm like, I start new jobs. Well, I start new positions in my job, and I'm always, like, the newest one there, and I'm always, like, the newest one. Like, I always feel like the newest one, and it's really hard because everyone else seems so confident and seems so, like, sure of what they're doing and how they're doing it, and it's hard to learn.
But keyword, you always feel like that. You're not always that.
It's true.
I feel like we're similar in that sense. I always feel like I could have, like, 2 years more experience doing something than someone else. I will still be convinced, like, oh, they know better than me, right?
Really?
That's just my, like, headspace. I'm like,
interesting.
I don't know, it's weird, because when I'm by myself, I'm very confident in my abilities, but it's like the second there's someone else, I'm like, oh, they probably know better, like I trust them, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that I have to let go of for sure. But I feel like that is a mindset. Like, you may be the youngest there, but everyone there might be thinking, oh, she's young, she knows this all really fresh, or she's more energetic, she has more energy than we do. Like, there's so many things that they could be thinking that you have a better up in, but you're just not thinking that way. Yeah. And that's just a perspective shift, because you wouldn't do something that you have no clue what you're doing, right? Like, you... Not fully.
I might do something I have half an idea of what I'm doing.
Exactly, but you know you'll figure it out, right? Yeah. So you're not in this job with no experience being like, I don't know what to do. You're there for a reason. Yeah. You know why you're there. You're a smart girl. You know you have experience. So there's no reason for you to think like, oh, I'm younger or whatever. Just don't tell yourself that.
I think I'm very lucky in the sense I'm not scared of being wrong.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Sometimes I can be really stubborn, but I'm not scared of, like, someone coming to me and telling me, like, you did that wrong. I mean, unless it's, like, I messed up, like, really badly. But if someone at work is like, hey, like, we actually don't do that at this job, then, like, that's fine. Because, like, how am I supposed to know, right? Like, they're teaching me, they're just helping me learn, and there's nothing wrong with learning.
And you know what? That's something that I used to have that crazy fear in my first job, and having a second job made me lose that fear. And that's also connects to our main point, where it's like experiencing different environments, different programs, different jobs, everything. It can kind of shift you into the person you want to be. Because if I stayed at that first job, I guarantee you I wouldn't have nearly as much growth as I have now. Yeah.
You always talk about, like, your first job and how much like has changed since then, and how much happier you are at your new job.
And I'm thankful I experienced that too, because then it made me appreciate the second job even more.
Exactly.
Guys, it's all connected.
It's all connected. Yeah, I like that. That was well said.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next point is that successful people aren't special, they're just consistent. And I think that's really true.
Stop the mindset of like, oh my god, they're so lucky. You know what? In our kind of industry, it is sometimes luck. Like, they literally teach you, like, half of this is luck, half of it is, like, who can you, like, meet, who can you know, right?
Yeah.
So for us, it's a bit not true. But I would say just in life in general, those people aren't mostly lucky. But even, let's say someone gets really lucky in our industry and gets, like, a crazy job, doesn't mean they're amazing at it, you know? So your goal is just to find something that you'll be amazing at, and don't try to pull yourself down or pull others down because they do get a position that you don't have. Yeah.
No, I think that's good to keep in mind as well. And I like to here we have written, don't ask the universe, like, why not me? And ask maybe, like, what are they doing? What habits are they practicing that I can borrow? Maybe it's the discipline behind waking up every morning at 7 a.m. I can't do that. I don't wake up that early. Maybe it's like, you know, my mom always tells me all the time that after class, or at the end of the day, you're supposed to take, like, 20 minutes out of your day and just summarize what you learned from school that day, and it'll help you to retain it so much better. She's been telling me that since grade 9. Have I done it once? No, I haven't.
Yeah, but you've had the idea in your mind.
I've thought about it. I've certainly thought about it. Right, it's half the battle.
Oh my god, you're so funny.
But yeah, no, the point I'm trying to make is that, like, maybe, like, just see what makes them super successful, and also, like, what you define as success, but that's a whole other story. Take what they are doing that makes them more successful and implement that in your life, and see if that works for you and it helps you to achieve your sense of success. And if it doesn't work for you, that's okay, and just try something else. It's all trial and error. That's what life is anyways.
Yeah, you can take inspiration from someone else's confidence, someone else's position in their life where they're at, but you don't have to be them, right? Like, you can take inspiration, think, okay, what could they be doing that could aid me, and try it out. And if it doesn't work for you, you're not the same person, right?
100%. Yeah.
But it's good to take inspiration. And we talked about that in our confidence episode about, like, instead of being jealous of someone who seems like they have it all together and they're beautiful and they're popular, just try to think, okay, what's something they're doing that I deep down want, right? And then you can take inspiration from how confident they are, or how they just, like, walk into class and they're probably not thinking about, oh, everyone hates me, but maybe you are. You have to try to, like, adopt that.
Yeah.
No,
I like that.
It goes for all types of
100%.
places in your life.
100%. I feel like that's also something I'll be keeping in mind when I'm like 30 and starting new jobs changing. So
because then we'll feel like babies then too. You know what I mean? Like we'll feel like babies in those jobs.
I think you said we'll have babies.
No, we'll feel like babies in those jobs.
Yeah.
We think we feel young now. This is going to continue until we're like 80.
We haven't even started our careers yet.
No, exactly.
Like, we think we're young now.
Exactly. Like, this is always going to happen. The second you go from, like, your, like, 20s job to your, like, full, like, job when you have a family, whatever, you're going to be new there, too. Right? You're always going to feel like a little bit of you doesn't know what you're doing. Yeah. You kind of just have to go with confidence and be like, you're always going to somewhat be doing something new in your life. Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah, you're always learning. Like, I think there's people that have said, like, there's never a day in their life where they're not learning, and they're, like, 70 years old. Exactly. Like, you learn something new, even if it's not, like, biology. You're learning something new every day.
Exactly.
Regardless of what it is. So on that note, I don't really have a transition.
That's okay.
I thought I did one. Okay, so in terms of productivity, there will be days and there'll be times when you get everything done and days when responding to one email is the win.
Yeah, and be proud of that.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot too. I feel like sometimes I have like splurges of energy where I'm able to get like 4 assignments done in one weekend, and then I'll have other weekends where I just lie in bed and I'm like, you know what, today's just a relaxing day.
Exactly. And we've talked about this before. We have even like a reel on our Instagram of you talking about how taking breaks is so important. Yeah. And it's not just taking breaks like, oh, I'm studying, I need to take a break in between this. It's in your life, right? Like in a week, you'll need a little bit, like whether it's 1 or 2 days in between what you're doing, not like to sit in your bed the whole day, but do a bit less than what you're doing on the other days to balance it out. Because no one's a machine. We're all human. You're not expected to wake up at 8 a.m. and do hard work that's like making your brain go crazy until 9 p.m. Like,
that's crazy. That's not sustainable.
No, it's not. That's why we have weekends. That's why like the world created that. Yeah. Right? Like you need that little break, or else you're not going to be giving your best self to your job or to school. You need those breaks to put your best foot forward. Yeah. And it's important in that. You can't take breaks without, you have to, I don't know, you have to not be so hard on yourself for taking those, or else you'll be like making your brain tired from being upset at yourself.
You'll burn out. We have an opposite on this too.
Yeah, right? Like that's not, you need to relax, which means not thinking hard thoughts. Yeah. And being hard on yourself is a hard thought.
100%. I guess. Yeah. Guilt without rest. Rest with guilt is not rest.
Yes. Okay, that's better. I did not say that in a smart way. But yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And then I also just want to say, like, people, like humans were never meant to work all day every day. We're also not meant to be on our phones all day every day, so that's something I want to try and reduce. But yeah, we're not meant to work all day every day. Like, you're not supposed to come home after work, make dinner, and then work more. You know, I think that might be a sign that you're maybe taking on too much, and it's great that you're having all these accomplishments, but it's not sustainable in the long run. And like we have written right here, like, you can't pour from an empty cup. Yeah. Like, if you're draining everything from yourself, you have nothing left to give. Yeah. And it's not a fun feeling. I've been there where I'm like, I literally have nothing left to give. And it's not a fun place to be there. So it's important to take breaks to give yourself back the energy and fill your cup back up.
Yeah, exactly. That was really cute. Aw. On the topic of phones, it was just a thought that I had, that I feel like some people look at our generation, they're like, oh my God, they're not even thinking, they're just looking on their phones all day, whatever. I think in a way that it makes us think way more, not in a good way. Like, our brains are like always on because we're so subjected to everything going on in the world. Like, humans are not built to see the things that we see on our phones, see everyone else's thought in like a 5,000 people comment section. Like, we are not built to see that. Understand other people's thoughts that live like on the other side of the world. Right? Yeah. Like, it's unique and it's amazing, but it can also be very draining. And I feel like a lot of people are hard on themselves for being like, oh, I just feel tired all the time, like whatever. I don't know. I feel like our generation's just dealing with that. Like, it's weird. It's very weird.
Like, yesterday I was literally thinking about this as I'm on the train ride home, and it made me so sad because I was on my phone, and I looked up, and every single person on that train was on their phone. Yeah. Except for a couple. I don't know if they were like together or like siblings, but it was a guy and a girl, and they were having a conversation and they seemed so happy.
Yeah.
Like they were smiling, they were having a good time, and I was just looking around and everyone else is on their phones.
That's why I love being with my friends, because that's the one time that you can't reach me. Like, I'm usually pretty good with answering texts, but if I'm like sitting talking to you like in Allen Slade or something, I'm not checking my phone, you know? And it's nice. It's like I actually feel like I can have a back and forth conversation and not have to like, you know. But in the past, I guess people would take an hour-long train and they didn't have a phone. Yeah. So they just sit there, look out the window, right? But I feel like don't be hard on yourself, because this is just how we were grown up. And how are you supposed to not do this when it's literally our reality, right? Yeah. Like, it's hard. And I don't expect anyone to be like, okay, I'm not going to use my phone every time I'm on the train. We're just not used to that.
No. So, our brains, we can't. That's not.
It's not going to work. Like, we haven't been trained like that. So, yeah, use your phone on the train, whatever, when you're alone. But it's good to have realistic goals, you know? Don't say, like, oh, I'm not going to use my phone at all today, whatever. You could just do those little time limits of, like, okay, only 30 minutes on TikTok today, whatever, and then make your phone, like, shut off when the 30 minutes is up. Like, those are good, like, realistic goals. But
those are really good, and it helps you to be more mindful, and I think that everyone could benefit just from being like a little bit more intentional in like managing their screen time, and also like making sure that they're having like good, present, intentional conversations with like even like random people. Like, I'm not saying like you have to give everything to any conversation, but like it doesn't hurt to like smile and be like, hey, like have a good day, and like little things. So
on the topic of like simple, like future focused goals that we can do, we have some like ideas to kind of like drive that. And I feel like that's one of them, like just trying to put down the phone a little bit, but realistically, right? Like, we needed to answer.
We all know that our phone's addicted.
Text messages, whatever, but like, you know, a little bit. Yeah. Even me, like, watching a movie, it sounds like it's like still screen time, but for me that's like, oh, good for me, I'm not on my phone, you know what I mean? Like, it's very it's weird times that we're in where that's like the biggest goal, whereas like back in the day they'd be like, oh my god, you're just sitting on the TV watching movies, and now it's like, oh, good for you. Like, it's
now the goal is you watch a movie not scrolling on TikTok.
Exactly.
Oh, that's crazy.
But on the other hand, I feel like just in reality you need micro goals, not full-on goals. I try not to tell myself, okay, you need to get a new job by next month, or like something that's crazy like that. Let's say this week I'm going to apply to 2 jobs, right? Like small goals that will eventually lead you there, but again, it's not going to happen overnight, because realistically you're not going to make that goal just because nothing happens overnight, and then you're going to feel bad about yourself. Like, you need to set goals that are going to make you feel accomplished, because you are, right?
100%. And make sure that they're realistic goals.
So I say, like, we have an exam on Friday, I'm planning to study today. I'm not going to tell myself, okay, study all the material today. I'm going to say, okay, my goal today is to get like 3 chapters down, and then tomorrow it's this, whatever. Just take smaller chunks of time and less goals to eventually get to where you want to be, you know?
And I think that's good too, because you're starting like a couple of days beforehand, so it's easier to have those like little manageable pieces of work. But if you leave it to the last minute, you have no choice but to study the entire thing the night before your exam. So I think like you're saying, it's important to take a step back, and then you can do like 10 minutes or not, well, maybe a little bit more than 10 minutes, like 30 minutes every day to get ready for your exam, as opposed to spending 4 hours on one day getting ready for your exam. It's not healthy.
And you know what, to connect what you said earlier about your mom's really good advice at the end of every day to talk about what you learned, I feel like, I feel like an alternate to that, because again, you said you've never done it. It's amazing advice, but it's like something that I feel like it'd be really hard to hold yourself to. Some good advice we have written down here is 10 minutes once a week to check in, like, what went well this week? What did I learn this week? What could I improve on? I think that's more realistic, and that's something you could start with, to be like, okay, just once a week, let me just do this. And that's something that you can get done. And you know what, I'm going to try. And then if you really like it, and then maybe you'll be the kind of person to be like, okay, let me do this a couple times a week, or whenever I have a day of classes, right? But yeah, I think that would be a good idea for sure.
I like that. What I try and do is I try and celebrate like the little wins. And I also really like to try and think about how lucky I am.
Yeah.
This sounds so cheesy. But I like to think about how, lucky I am that I get to live so close to my school, and how, like, I get to stay at home with my parents, and, how I get to come to class and, like, I get to learn. And we have all these amazing studios here we get to learn from. And I think that sometimes I'm really easy at getting caught up in everything, and I really find it valuable for myself if I take a second and think, like, I'm so grateful that, like, I have a house to go to at night, and, like, I have a great school to learn from, and, like, I know so many wonderful people. And I think that kind of starts, once you start thinking of life in that way, it's a lot easier to do hard things, because you're like, how lucky am I that I get to do these difficult things, if that makes sense.
I love that. Yeah, I love that a lot. Yeah, I think it's really good to be grateful, and it's important to recognize that that is not belittling your complaints and your issues.
Yes.
There's a difference. Like, I always hated when people would be like a kid would complain to their mom, oh, I don't like this food, and the mom would be like, well, there's kids who don't have food, right?
Yeah.
I always thought, like, that, like, it's good to recognize that and be open about that, but it's also good to teach your kid that, like, if you scratched your knee, that's important, and it doesn't matter if some other kid has a broken leg. Like, yeah, they're hurt. You're still hurt, right? Yeah. It's different, but it's good to, just be grateful of the position that you're in. Realize, like, your privilege is amazing, and then also be open to looking at the things that you don't like and seeing how you can improve those too, right? Because you just want to get better and better.
100%. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with, like, still validating your own concerns and still validating, like, things that make you unhappy, because they're also very valid.
Yeah, but that and being negative is very different, right?
Yes.
And there's a very fine line, so it's really good to learn that. I feel like you've gotten that down really well.
Well, thank you.
Like, you're able to recognize, like, oh, like, this project is kind of, like, frustrating because it's not fair, but you're not going to be like, oh, this all sucks, I hate everything, right? You're good. Yeah. You're like, okay, how can I fix this, right? Maybe I'll work with a friend. Maybe we'll ask the teacher. Like, you're good at problem solving and stuff.
Thank you. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I might be wrong when I say this, but I don't actually really enjoy complaining very much. I find it very unproductive. I don't know if I do complain a lot. I try not to.
And I love that about you, because I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like I'm the same way.
Yeah.
And some people aren't. So it's really nice to be around someone who I feel like is just as positive as I am. And I'm not the kind of positive that's going to be like, oh, everything's amazing, like, don't be sad. But, like, making the best out of a situation that is given to you, right?
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to be here. I'm very lucky to be in this school. I can recognize that some things are going to be unfair, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, I hate this class, whatever, because I am thankful. I'm very thankful.
Of course.
And I can find, even if there's my least favorite class of all 4 years that I'm here, I could still find something that I'm learning that's useful. So.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I would definitely, like, you always do take that approach to things. You're not super negative. You're not, like, running around being like, I hate this place and I hate everything. So I like that. I like that about you as well.
Aw. That's why we get along so well.
We do.
We do. Okay, what's next?
There is value in who you are right now.
Yes.
And I think that's important always to recognize. I think, like, people try and change themselves in order to feel worthy of being something or getting something or, like, dating someone or something, but you're completely valuable in who you are right now. You're completely, like, worthy of love in who you are right now, and you have rights, and I love that.
Aw, that's amazing.
Aw.
I feel like, you know what, this is literally a realization I had, like, last week, honestly. Like, I didn't think about this before, but I feel like my whole life has been thinking about, okay, I am, like, adding more to my cup, like, let's say every decade, and I'm gonna be a full person by the time I'm, like, 40 and have, like, the job I want and, like, a family, whatever. Like, that is the goal.
Yeah.
But then I realized, I'm like, wait, I'm, like, living every single day to try to get to be, like, a full version of myself when I'm 40. Like, no. Like, I'm a full person right now.
Yeah, you're a full person.
I feel like I still feel like I'm in high school sometimes. Like, I feel like the time goes by so fast. I still feel so young. So it's hard to recognize that I'm an adult. I'm a full person.
That's so sad.
It's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, you know what I mean? It feels like we're, like, half a person, and we still, like, we have so much to learn. But we are a full self right now, and we need to live like that. We don't need to live for someone that we don't know yet, right? Like, it's good to plan your future, like the whole topic of this episode, but it also is good to recognize that you are your own self now, and to focus on yourself and do things that are good for you right now that'll also be good for the future.
100%.
Or start habits now that are good for you now, not just that are going to be good for you in 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. You said it well.
Oh, thank you. It's like, it's a scary thought. So it's like, I feel like I'm all over the place.
No, it's so scary. And I know exactly what you mean about how, like, sorry, I'm blanking. What did you say before?
Just like, I don't know, our future selves feels like the final being.
Oh, yes. No, I know what you mean. Yes, no, I remember. I was going to say about how, like, we see, like, being 40 years old is, like, the goal we have to work towards, and we forget that, like, we're a person now with, like, goals and plans and things that we can achieve right now without having to focus entirely on becoming that person, because then what's after that? Like, what happens when you turn 41?
And you know what? This is going to be, like, kind of depressing, but I just thought of it. Like, I don't know, where you want to be your full self now. Like anything can happen. Like, tomorrow isn't promised. And let's say that, like, you're not here tomorrow. Is everyone going to remember you based off what you were going to be in 20 years? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you want to be who you are right now and have a full life with who you are now, because you are a valid person even though you're young, right? Yeah. So, yeah, don't live for someone who's in the future. Live for yourself now. Yeah.
That was kind of dark.
I know, but, like, it's a good reminder.
No, it's something that you have to keep in mind for sure. That you can't live for something that isn't here.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it's good to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Would you like to share your self-care share?
So my self-care share is kind of embarrassing because I already accidentally did it.
You already did it?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Which is, okay, it's not even self-care. So what I wrote down, this is actually kind of a self-care fail. Because last night I wrote down that my self-care share was going to be, I'm going to be, like, so real. Yeah. It was going to be, like, I have to study for exams this week. But that's all I have to do. I finished, like, all of my forms for our other thing I finished, our assignments. So all I need to do is studying for two exams. So I was telling myself that, like, sometimes it's hard to be like, I have a whole week and I just have to study for this thing. It's hard to find motivation. So I was telling myself I need to take breaks so that when I do study, it'll be, like, grind time, and then take breaks so I'm very, like, nourished in that, because my brain can't study for 4 days in a row without, like, taking breaks.
You know, I can't either.
So I was telling myself, like, I was going to reward myself with, like, I had watched, like, 2 episodes of Stranger Things.
The new season?
And, yeah. Okay. And there was, like, 3? I think there's 5 in total.
I think there's 4 out right now.
4? No, I thought it was... Maybe it was 4. That makes my story better, actually.
Okay.
I don't want there to be 5. Let's say there was 4. I watched, like, 2 last week. But I had to stop because I had so much work to do. Now I'm done work. So I was like, I'm going to study this week and then reward myself with, like, a Stranger Things episode once every, like, 2 days. I finished it last night. But like,
no!
In my defense, my dad was watching it too, and I was like, I want to watch it with my dad. So we just watched, and I was home pretty early yesterday because our class ended, so I was done by 9:30. Which was, like, nice. Not late, so I could still do work, whatever. So I guess now my new self-care share is going to be, like, just remembering to take breaks, maybe watching some Stranger Things interviews. Now that I finished it.
There you go. Or, like, rewatching season 1. My dad's been doing that, and he really likes it. I was thinking about that. It
seems like a commitment. But maybe I'll do, since I've already seen it, maybe I'll do, like, 1 episode this week, and then, like, slowly rewatch.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. But still reward yourself. Give yourself breaks, even if it's not with Stranger Things, with something else.
Exactly. Oh, such a fail.
So my self-care share for this next week, because in exactly a week, like right now, we'll be getting ready to write our last exam. Yeah. So I just need to make it through this next week. I need to just, like, focus. I feel like the burnout is kind of coming. I did a lot this semester, and it's kind of catching up with me.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm giving myself a lot of, like, nights off when I need to get my stuff done. So that's my goal for this week, is I need to get my exam studied for, and then I have 1 final project to turn in, and then I'll be done. So this time next week, I'll be done, which is what I'm trying to keep in mind, and that's just the goal.
Yeah. Good for you. You know what? Can I propose a shared self-care share?
Yes.
Because this is our last episode. I think we have the same class next week on Tuesday, and we have our exam together. I think we should either have dinner after or grab, like, a sweet treat to, like, reward ourselves.
I will always say yes to a sweet treat.
And it's our last time there, because, like, Tuesdays, sometimes you work, sometimes I'm like, I have to get work done. There was Dancing with the Stars every Tuesday, so I had to be on that. Like, we didn't do a lot after Tuesdays.
We didn't.
Actually, the first episode of GirlCode, we got piercings. That was the
first
and only time we've done something on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I feel like next Tuesday we should definitely reward ourselves if you're not working and just do something. Oh no. Okay, what about before?
Yeah, I
grab breakfast and study.
Oh, we can grab breakfast before, or like there's a little bit of time before I start work. I have like 2 or 3 hours. So,
yeah, okay.
We'll have time. I'm excited. That's our self-care share.
Because we've never done that, and I feel like we need to reward ourselves and hang out a little bit after that to celebrate the class that we took together.
We'll finally be done.
Yes. Oh my god, it's crazy. It went by so fast.
Okay, well.
Yeah. I guess we'll do a little recap.
The time has come.
The time has come. We're gonna go and cry now.
Yeah.
So yeah, today we just talked about how having big dreams is important, but holding yourself to a realistic standard is always important, because you always want to make a goal that you can be proud of yourself for, and not one that you will just hold against yourself, you know? So yeah, just be realistic. Recognize that you are human and you're only capable of so much, and sometimes doing your best doesn't look like what you doing your best did last week or yesterday. Every day it's different. So just don't hold yourself to a standard that isn't possible, and do things that will go towards you right now, and that'll be good for your future self.
Yeah. And like, to quote myself from last week, I said something about how when I want to graduate, I want to look back on the time I spent in university and think of it as something that was difficult and something that was challenging. And so I have to remember that, like, right now when it's difficult and challenging because of all the exams and all the school piling up, it's just going to make that feeling of like me feeling proud of myself in a year and a half so much more rewarding.
Right.
So I think that's important to keep in mind.
And then you get to look back and see things like this and realize, you know what, I had fun too, and I had good friends, and it was a good experience.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited.
I know, me too.
Okay, well, that was GirlCode Season 1.
Yes.
It's over.
I know.
And we'll hopefully see you in the new year.
I know, hopefully. Okay. Bye, Claire.
Bye, Ava.